Approximately 30 calves were killed following an icy rollover accident late last week here in the Panhandle. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, it was a long, cold night for first responders in Banner and Goshen counties last Thursday following an accident just after midnight in which a semi hauling cattle went off the roadway and was laid on its side. Banner County Fire Chief Tim Grubb says the accident took place on eastbound Highway 88, about 2 miles from the Wyoming line, with no injuries to the driver, but about 120 head of calves trapped in the cattle trailer. Grubbs tells KNB News that firefighters from his department, LaGrange, and other Goshen County agencies took several hours cutting escape holes in the roof of the trailer and wrangling calves into an adjacent field. He says they were able to save about 90 of the calves that had been destined for a Banner County feedlot and cleared the scene more than 5 hours later. Well, as the deadline for incumbent elected officials has come and passed, there will be some familiar faces and names on the ballot for the May primary for several local seats. In the Gering City Council race, Susan Wiedemann, Michael Gillen, and Troy Cowan all filed for re-election to continue representing their respective wards. Meanwhile, Ben Backus, who ran for Gering mayor 2 years ago, did not file for his Ward 3 seat on the council. Other notable filings as of the incumbent deadline included races for the Western Nebraska Regional Airport Authority, where board members Neil Smith and Bob Unzicker filed, as well as for the Scottsbluff County Board, in which Republicans Ken Meyer and Russ Reisig filed for their party's nominations to their respective district seats. Non-incumbents for all races in the May primary have until the end of the business day on March 1st to file for candidacy. We'll have more news right after this.
The journey of a dream becoming reality. When we're young, a dream develops into a passion. That passion continues to manifest and grows as you do. It becomes all you want to do and all you want to be. It gives you direction. It drives you. Then, your dream has become a reality. When that dream is ready to be reality, Platte Valley Bank will be with you every step of the way.
Life is crazy. Pain is stressful. How can anybody concentrate with these busy schedules? Now you can. This is Ben Moravec coming to you from Hydrozen, a float therapy business right here in Scottsbluff. I'm here today to let you know we now have memberships for $49 monthly. You can guarantee yourself at least one float per month. You know how floating keeps your muscles relaxed, your joints relieved, and your brain clear to think? Now you can float at a reduced rate each month. Inquire today at hydrozenfloat.com or call us at 308-63-FLOAT. Hydrozen. Unplug and recharge.
Welcome back. A Minutair man caught with more than an ounce of meth during an October traffic stop will not be standing trial. 58-year-old Byron Talley was arrested after 38 grams of meth and $1,800 cash was discovered by Scottsbluff sheriff deputies. Last week in district court, he pleaded no contest to an amended charge of possession of meth with intent to distribute and agreed to forfeit the cash that was seized. An April 3rd sentencing date has been set by District Judge Andrea Miller. Well, people living in the Panhandle can come on down to Gering High School Thursday evening to get some help with upcoming projects while helping a great cause. The Gering FFA Hire a Helper auction will kick off at 6 p.m. on the 22nd with a free meal followed by the auction. Folks can bid for 8 hours of service from an FFA member, and the proceeds are used to help with program and the costs associated with their competitions. FFA President Trace Leach said this will be his third year offering up his services and says he's continually amazed at all of the community's support.
Yeah, this community is so great for our FFA chapters. Even we get support from even Scottsbluff Baird, and the same goes for them. They get support from Gearing. It's such a great community for our local FFA chapters.
Leach says their program has grown to 33 members. Back in November, 9 attended the National FFA Convention, and they've qualified numerous teams for April's state convention. And gas prices have jumped over the last several weeks. Oil industry analyst Trilby Lundberg, the publisher of the Lundberg Survey, tells us how much they've gone up. Lundberg says prices are likely to increase further as crude oil price hikes have not fully hit the market, and the U.S. is currently at the height of the refinery maintenance season. AAA reports the average price of a regular gallon of gas in Nebraska today is $2.94, or about 8 cents higher than a week ago.
Are new windows from Renewal by Andersen a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Andersen right now? Do the math. Renewal by Andersen windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Andersen, a great investment? You're darn right.
It takes a community to keep our waters clean. Please don't let pollutants be swept and carried away into our storm drains. This can cause problems like clogged storm sewers and contaminating the area's rivers, lakes, and ponds. Non-point source pollutants are not from one source or property, but instead from many sources and properties, which can impair our waterways. Even one piece of trash can add up. Tri-City Stormwater wants you to remember, it's our water, our responsibility.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the Scottsbluff Body and Paint Ag Desk. Scottsbluff Body and Paint, you're driving home our reputation.
Speaking of Nebraska Extension events, earlier this week, the Nebraska Extension hosted the Nebraska Corn Production Clinic in Aurora. Several topics were covered at this year's event, including year-round soil water management. Market Journal's Mike Straub is up next with this story.
When it comes to irrigation and managing soil water, many producers will find a need for concern when the time comes to begin irrigating their crops. However, at this year's Nebraska Corn Production Clinic, Extension educator Steve Melvin wanted those in attendance to start approaching soil water management from a year-round perspective.
Well, we were focusing on year-round soil water management, and I really think the biggest take-home from that is the fact that on our irrigated land, because we keep them well-watered all summer, they're pretty wet going into the fall, and on a typical year we get more off-season precipitation we can hold in the soil, so we're going to deep percolate water most years on our irrigated land from off-season precipitation. Yeah, I think in the springtime it mostly is what we're focusing on. Following up my presentation is on nitrogen management, making sure that we keep our nitrogen in a form that sticks to the solid part of the soil, not that's in the solution so it gets washed away. Well, I just think, looking at a year-round water management is important, and because we live in a year-round world, and irrigation engineers like myself have probably kind of been guilty of just talking about in-season irrigation management, but we really need to focus on what's going on in the off-season as well, because it's a valuable time of year. I mean, that off-season moisture, if we can capture it and use it, that's water we don't have to pump, so it's important to look at it year-round.
While there isn't much to be done with water management throughout the winter months, Steve stresses the importance of keeping a vigilant eye on off-season precipitation as a means of nitrogen management before producers get into the full swing of planting season this spring to ensure they get the most out of their nitrogen application.
Well, I think just be aware of it in the wintertime. I mean, you can put in soil water monitoring any time of the year and monitor it year-round, but there's not a lot you can do about it in the wintertime. So I think it's just what we're trying to do is create an awareness, a reason of why some of the things we say about nitrogen management are important. A lot of people don't really think about that water deep percolating out there. Most people kind of calibrate themselves on their non-irrigated acres for, wanting lots of off-season moisture to refill the profile when we don't have irrigation. because that's the reserve is down in the soil. And I don't think people really think about on the irrigated land, it's already wet, so it's just deep percolating water. So I think before planting and when you're thinking about fertilizer, it's just really just keep in mind you're going to have some water move through the profile. So how do what steps are appropriate to take to keep the nitrogen from coming into that liquid portion of the soil and getting washed away or deep percolated towards the groundwater.
Before producers begin planting, it is highly recommended to conduct a good amount of soil testing before the irrigation systems come online. This could potentially help improve a producer's bottom line by helping limit the amount of water pumped and deep percolation nitrogen loss that can occur in commonly irrigated areas.
Well, looking at what's in the soil is important, and last year was an example of when you probably needed to look at it early because it was such a dry winter, but this winter it looks like we're getting some pretty good moisture off season, and so we're going to have enough moisture probably to carry us until our more typical irrigation season. But that would be a reason you would want to start looking at the soil water content from an irrigation standpoint. Do I need to water? Because really typically May and June is our wettest months of the year, and that's also the time when we've got a lot of our nitrogen out there already anyway. So sometimes in June corn's have some afternoons when it starts to roll up a little bit. Really encourage you guys to be monitoring soil moisture then and see what's there, but most of the time those May, June irrigations just aren't necessary. Last year being an exception, of course, but typically they're just not, and so a guy needs to be very, very careful not to deep percolate or get it completely full of water and then you start getting the typical range that you do in May and June and then you deep perk from rain. But it's really important to think about those early irrigations because you can cause a lot of deep percolation with them.
With planting season coming around the corner and hot summer months coming shortly after that, it's never too early to start considering your soil water management strategies. Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Mike Straub.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Let's take a look at your community calendar, brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
Better sleep and better health can be found at Western Sleep Medicine in Gehring. Since 2006, Western Sleep Medicine has offered the lowest cost sleep testing either in their independent sleep laboratory or the privacy of your own home. You have control over your health care and your out-of-pocket cost. All insurance is accepted for a much lower cost than the regional option. If you need a sleep study, ask for Western Sleep Medicine. They've helped thousands of people over the years and want to help you. Western Sleep Medicine. Better sleep, better health.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, the Cattlemen's Ball is coming to the Panhandle in 2024. On June 7th and 8th, Scott and Kristen Schiff will host at their farm near Minutair. Last week, the Cattlemen Balls Association announced that country music star Chancey Williams will be joining the Saturday evening entertainment lineup, following the previously announced headliner, Colin Ray. The Cattlemen's Ball raises millions of dollars for cancer research. 90% of the profits benefit the Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Center in Omaha, with 10% donated back to the local community's health and wellness programs. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. See you here next time.